So apparently, it was unbeknownst to me, but in college at Augsburg, for those who did not know me well or personally, people thought I was a partier. They thought that I would rage every weekend, and I kind of had that surfer dude kind of reputation, even though I was from southern Minnesota. I was thinking about it this past week, and I was thinking I had long hair. I had really long hair. I grew up as a small town preacher's kid. I went from Hayward, Minnesota, population 197, including cattle, and I went to Augsburg College, and I didn't want to be a preacher's kid anymore, so I had a well-maintained mullet. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but I had oftentimes frosted tips. I had streaks in my hair, no colors. I just kind of went blonde. Every single time I came back from summer, I was very tan because I was a hired man. I worked out in the middle of nowhere. And so I did look like a surfer dude. I perhaps had the cavalier attitude that would lend itself to the profiling. But people would get to know me and they would say, "Oh, I thought you were fill in the blank." But one day I had an epiphanal kind of moment. I lived in the dorm for a couple of years, and there was a big study hall, and I was always in it. I was always in it, all the way until college. I got accepted under academic probation, another story for another sermon, I've told you that. But all of a sudden I started getting A's, and for me, it was my drug. If I got one wrong out of 200, I asked why. And the next time I resolved not to do it again. And so I was in the study hall, but one day a fellow student, a female, came up to me and she said, "Do you work here?" "No, I'm a student just like you, but why do you ask?" She said, "Well, I'm with those girls over there and one of those receptacles doesn't work, and we were talking about you, that you're always here. In fact, when we go individually, you're always here. Collectively, you're always here, so we thought you work here." And I thought, well, maybe I should work here. If I'm here, but they're not paying me. I'm getting paid by studying, but then all of a sudden I decided I was going to change. I changed by studying in my room, some, studying in that area less, studying in the Augsburg Library, and every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I would walk over to the University of Minnesota and go to their library because they didn't know me. I went to one house party in 4 years. I'm an introvert. I don't like crowds, and I thought during the entire party I should be studying. Yet when people got to know me, they'd say, oh, you're a good student. You don't party. Imagine that. I thought, you don't know me. But you can tell I'm entitled. You can tell I'm privileged because I thought about the time in my life when I was profiled, and that's what I came up with. But we do. You and I, we say it saves time, but you and I look at someone, we listen to someone, we detect an accent, we look at the color of their skin, or we look who they love or who they don't love, what they drive, their countenance, and then you and I, because we want to just tick it off, we go boom, 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 then you must be this. Am I right? We all do it. And when it's done unto you, it doesn't feel good. And so I thought about this. You can never tell a book by its cover. After Lester and Edwin coined this, some people have supplanted it in there. You don't judge a book by its cover, but you can't tell. Oh, David, I didn't know. When I went to seminary, people thought I was the same way. I had friends of mine who had a bar tab at probably the bar that you've gone to. And every single month, they could have each paid a lease for a Volvo for their bar tab. And they were my friends. And people thought that I went, but I didn't go. But I was judged by the book that they wrote. They're still my friends because I love them. But they're more nuanced than somebody who just likes to have a few beers. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation that will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Happy birthday to Martin Luther King Jr. today. And he said that 59 years ago. And all I can simply say as a white person is I think we've made some progress, but I cannot measure the progress. If you want to know the progress that has been made to get to this dream, ask someone of color. Have the intestinal fortitude to look at someone who has a different color skin than you and me and say, how are we doing? And then listen. My role, your role, is to work toward a better end. But a lot of people's hearts need to be changed because they just thought I was a study geek, and they were right. But I was more than that. I bring it up and I'm almost 60. Imagine how ornery I'd be if somebody judged me by the color of my skin every day of my life. Think of that, my friends in Christ.